Good morning and welcome to North Texas Networkers, a show about introducing interesting people across the DFW area, and it's sponsored by Willow Bend Mortgage with Craig Schrank. Thank you, Craig. I'm Kara Lee.
And I'm Stacy.
And we are so happy to be here today, but today is a very special day because today is our last episode after 4 years, and we have Trelvis Giles with us because he has been our producer most of that time, and we are so excited to have him here and flip the cameras on him. Welcome. You have been on the other side of our table for almost the whole time we've been doing this.
Absolutely.
We've had so much fun, but we want to turn the tables today and learn a little bit more about you. We know that you have been our producer for quite some time, but you also vlog.
Yeah,
you also
absolutely.
Cook. You're a great cook, right?
I appreciate that. That's a good
I heard
compliment.
he's like a master chef.
Master chef.
Now you're putting a lot of seasoning on it. Putting a lot of seasoning on it.
And then you also are a DJ on K104.
I am. So I appreciate the compliments, the cooking compliments. I do take my food serious, but I mostly burn, is what I tell people. But no, yeah, I cook a little bit. I do like to cook. I've been a DJ at K104 for probably about 6 years. I've been there probably about 6 years. I started out at another radio station, Clear Channel. It's now like iHeart, I think is what it's called now.
Okay.
I started out there in promotions. And a gentleman by the name of Josh Hart, he found it in his heart to help me create like an air check, which is basically like a voice sample of yourself. And once he helped me do that, I would come up to the stations on my days off, and he would like put me in the studio and just be like, do what you do. And he helped me with an air check. I sent it to K104, and they told me no. At first, they were like, you're not ready. So I practiced, sent it again, and they were like, we heard the progress, so come on in. And the rest is history. I've been there like, 6, 7 years now.
Okay, so give us like a sample of what your air check would have been then versus what your air check would be now.
Oh gosh, that's a good one. What it would have been then, so it would have probably been something like, hi, my name is Trey G. My voice was way more cracky back then. And then nowadays, it's more so like, what's going on? My name is Trey G. Good morning to you. I'm Trey G. Welcome to K104. You know, it's a lot more confidence now.
Yeah.
A lot more confident now. So, but you learn as the years go on that you really don't have anything to be nervous about except for what's up here.
Yeah.
Once you clear that out, everything else becomes a lot easier.
Was radio always something you wanted to do? Or
It
you
was.
Just kind of, okay.
No, yeah, it was. My mom used to have conversations with me all the time because I went to North Mesquite High School. I grew up in Pleasant Grove, and we would drive to North Mesquite High School, which is a local high school here. And she would always have conversations with me on the drive there, like, you know, with your personality, I could see you doing something in TV or something in radio. So that pretty much burned it inside of my head, like, I need to figure out a path to do that, because that's what she's like guiding me towards. So she is like the biggest influence that I credit to being in radio. She is the whole reason why I'm here.
You know, I read somewhere about your story about your mom and your grandmother. Share that with us.
So yeah, my mom and grandma are like really heavy influences on my life. My grandpa as well. My dad was there also. We would go see him like on the weekends and stuff like that. But my mom and grandma were like day to day. They were like, even if I feel like if I don't say yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir, I feel like they'll pop out the roof. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you say? So they were a heavy influence on me. My grandma, she passed away probably almost 10 years ago. But she like is like a big part of the reason. I always tell people my mom is like my heart and my grandma is like my soul. You know what I mean? So I credit them for the reason why I am the way I am. They left a big, big impact on me. But yeah, those are my two, you know, queens. It's my pillars, my pillars, for sure.
So then the other love is food.
Absolutely.
So
as you can tell.
So what do you do in that realm?
So with the food, so it started out as something just like fun that my mom, I would always like be in the kitchen with her when she cooked. And it started out as something fun. She taught me how to cook, I guess you would say. And it kind of just took on a life of its own. I started to post like my plates to social media. And certain people would be like, oh, that looks so good. Other people would be like, what is it? So I was like, with the conversation that it sparks, like people will probably be interested to know what it took to get to this point, like what it took to get to a final product. So I started to think in my head, like, what can I cook? Like, what actually am I able to finish cooking and cook?
Show, yeah.
So yeah, and show. So it started out with like small stuff like quesadillas. What else would I cook? Chicken, of course. Steaks, fish, hamburgers. And then it kind of graduated to more like complicated meals. I always tell people, like, if it takes more than like 2 or 3 ingredients, I'm probably gonna mess it up. So don't give me that. But I made a meatloaf one time and it came out really good. And I was so impressed with my own meatloaf that I was like, I gotta continue this. I gotta keep going. So it just evolved into a bunch of other stuff, and I just add a comedic twist to it.
Meatloaf was really, like, it had some interesting ingredients.
It did. It definitely did. I got the recipe from, I think, YouTube. I think is where I got it from.
So what did you put in it?
What did I put in it? It was meat, of course. It was, I think, barbecue sauce, maybe like as a something. It was breadcrumbs. God, now.
See, I've never made a meatloaf.
Really?
Never.
It
My
was-
mother made one growing up, and it wasn't good.
Really? Oh,
I
but
love my mother, but the meatloaf wasn't good.
I love meatloaf. Maybe she didn't use the right recipe or something like
think
that.
not.
Maybe she didn't use the right recipe. But I put like onions, bell peppers, all of that stuff in there too. Of course, salt, pepper, garlic powder, seasoning. I'm really like big on like it tasting like something. I don't want it to just taste like meat and like barbecue sauce. So I always put like good amount of seasoning in there, and I don't like hot food. So I'd rather it be like sweet and savory. I'm not a spicy
Not
guy.
spicy.
Do not like spicy food. So it's like barbecue sauce, breadcrumbs, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper. It's an ingredient I'm forgetting, but I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was kind of like the last
secret
little,
ingredient?
yeah,
Secret.
last
That
little secret
one.
ingredient. Yeah, exactly.
So most of the time you're on the other side of us, producing our show.
Right.
So how did you learn that whole part of
Oh,
radio?
man.
I mean, that seems way more complicated than sitting here talking.
Sure, yeah, it absolutely is. The behind the scenes is always like something tricky. But I have to credit, first of all, my real news team, like my family up here. They helped me like along the way. The board here and the board in radio is similar, but different
Okay.
at the same time. So you're looking at similar pieces, but not exact, of
And
course.
you guys all came from the news industry, right?
Mhm. Yeah, well, so news and like radio. So
Okay.
I didn't actually do any news work, but I was like a board op at K104. That's how I started out. So yeah, I came from K104. The board is kind of similar, but I think Anna was you all's
Oh, yeah,
first
she
producer.
was.
Yeah, shout out to Anna.
Yes,
Shout out
we
to
love-
Anna.
we love Anna.
Yo, absolutely.
She's great.
Yeah, she actually showed me the ropes of how to like work the show and how to work the board. She was like a big staple that helped me in the company. Like I would go to Anna and just ask her like all type of questions. How do you edit this? How do you do this? How does this work? So Anna actually was you guys' first producer. She passed the torch on to me, and I kind of just ran with it after that. But you guys are like great clients too at the same time, so y'all made it easy. Yeah.
You know, I remember the very first time we had you because Anna was just out that day. And we had Lisa D'Amato on the show, and you
I remember that.
were so excited because you actually knew who she was.
Yeah.
Not that we wouldn't know who she was, but you knew who she was.
Yeah.
And you seemed so excited.
Absolutely, America's Next Top Model.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie to you. When I was a kid, I used to love that show. And she was like one of the contestants on there, and she was this big like personality.
Yeah.
Still
Oh, yeah,
is.
still is.
Yeah, still is. But I used to love that show, and when I heard you guys were having her on the show, I was like, oh yeah, I definitely got to be hands-on with this.
Too bad she didn't get to be in studio. That
Yeah,
Right.
it was
would've been
remote.
really
That
fun.
was
It's
one of our
okay.
first remote shows. I think.
And that was the old studio too, if I'm not mistaken. That was the
was?
one like 170.
Downstairs, I
Oh, that
think.
was like old days, man. That was like the ground level.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this place
absolutely.
Definitely evolved. We've had, over 4 years, a lot of guests. Is there anybody else that has stood out for our show, or anybody, or actually anyone?
You know
things
what?
that you've produced?
I was looking at the intro. Two people stood out. Mr. Smile.
Oh, yeah.
Of
Lawrence
course.
Mann.
Yeah, how can you forget that? Mr. Smile, he stood out a lot. Just because his personality was so big and bubbly, just like him. He's a big guy, you know what I mean? You don't expect, I guess, that personality to come out of him. You expect him to be a lot more aggressive, tough, rough. And not saying he's not, but he's so friendly. He was so nice. And then I think her name was April. She had the guitar.
The
Yes.
guitar.
April
Oh
Sapp.
man, she sounded amazing.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, we were in our previous studio with that one, and you could hear her playing from like down the hall.
Really?
Yeah, and people were like coming to the door. I don't even think y'all
We
noticed
didn't
it.
know that.
No, I didn't know that.
People were like coming to the door to see what that was. She was super great.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so those are two that like really stick with me. Yeah, like, but y'all had some great guests.
We have had a lot of guests over the years.
Yeah.
It's been a lot
The
of
mayor of, what was it,
Well,
Plano?
we've had two. We had the mayor of Plano, Harry Laurasolier, and then
fun. McKinney.
George
Fuller.
Yes, George
Yeah,
Fuller.
yeah. Y'all have some great guests.
And then one I think you got a photo with was Jimmy King.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the Fab. I couldn't have. I don't know how I forgot the Fab Five. Yeah, that was a great episode.
I have to admit, that's my favorite.
Oh yeah, for sure. The Fab Five, they are somebody that I followed as a kid in their story. You know what I mean? Of course, Chris Webber, Jawan Howard, Jalen Rose, like Jimmy King. Like those are guys that
Ray King.
paved the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
They paved the way.
They changed a lot of stuff.
I thought it was also fun when we had Bruce Levine from Dallas Stars.
Oh,
Because one of your
Derek.
yeah, Derek.
Yep.
Derek he had to come out and sit on the couch with us.
He was
awesome.
fanboy on that
Oh,
one.
absolutely. Derek was a big Stars fan. So when he heard who the guest was, he was like, he leaned back in his chair. I'll never forget it. He was like, dude, I got to be a part of that one.
He did.
Stacey and I are like,
he jumped
"Come
on
on in."
stage and took a microphone and just ran with it. It was
He was,
great.
I'll help you mic up or whatever you need. But Derek had to be a part of that one. Yeah, that was definitely
I think,
a memorable one.
Bruce sent him some tickets after that, so he got to go to
He went to a game. Yeah, shout out to Derek Kaufman, man. Derek was an instrumental part too in training me and teaching me the ropes and the ins and outs. So yeah,
so fun.
he actually helped make one of the intros
Did he?
for the show. I think the original intro Derek helped make.
I didn't even realize that. You know, we just poof, we had an intro.
It's like magic.
That's how it goes, and that's how it should be. You know what I'm saying? You guys shouldn't see any of it. It should just be, how does this look to you all? If it doesn't look good, send us edit points, and we'll, fix it as such as needed.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
you guys do a great job.
I know. So if there's someone that's thinking about getting into radio, any advice for them on kind
Ooh.
of what to prepare for and how to make that happen?
Run.
Do something else?
Yeah, do anything else besides. No, I'm joking. The thing about radio is it's in you. You know what I mean? Like, you can try to run from it all you want to, but it's like, it just calls you. It's like one of them things where it's just, it constantly nags at you. So, my uncle told me one time, if you want anything bad enough, you'll do what it takes to get it. And if you are not ready to put the work in that it takes to be in radio, then it's not the field for you, because it's a grind.
Well, that kind of brings me to, I mean, radio's changed so much over the years. And
Absolutely.
So many people are listening to other things. Where do you see the future of radio?
So the future of radio, it has to catch up with today's time. Like, I think podcasting, of course, is huge right now. So radio kind of has to shed its archaic like history, and it has to kind of catch up with everything. I think once you put a visual with radio, which is kind of what they're like kind of bleeding into, you see a lot more like radio hosts jumping into either podcasts or putting cameras in the studio.
Right.
You know what I mean? To try to make it visual as well as audio. But I think radio is going to be here because it's still like it's still the platform where it's almost exclusive. You have to be a certain caliber to get on the radio. So I think it's still going to be here, but I think it has to evolve in order to stay kind of that top tier platform. It definitely has to evolve, but I see great things for radio, just with the passion that the radio hosts and the people who are in radio have about it. It's limitless.
Well, tell us about your morning show.
So DD in the morning, DD in the morning, that is the show that I'm a part of. I do the traffic with DD in the morning. So if ever you hear, somebody giving incorrect traffic information on the radio, it's probably me. If you ever stuck in traffic for any reason, it's probably my
It's your fault.
But no, so I do traffic with DD in the morning, and I also sit and contribute with those guys. DD, JJ Williamson, he's a comedian from Mississippi. Also Jay Cruz, he is another like radio host. That's my hip hop brother. And also we just added another young lady, Keita Rose. She has a really big social media following. So, and it's all of us in one room. and just kind of giving our opinion on pop culture and the topics, at hand.
That's fun.
Absolutely, I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well, you're a big hip hopper, and you're known as the king of the city?
Prince of the city.
Prince of the city.
So
Where'd that come from?
me. So when I first got into radio, I felt as though I needed something that was not a gimmick necessarily, but something that people would know me by.
A hook.
Yeah, a hook, actually. Yeah, that's
Like
a great.
patriotic, right?
Exactly. So I needed something that was kind of like, okay, well, what can he be known for? What is it that he's most proud of and he has a passion about? So I was like, my city. I love Dallas. I mean, the necklace I have on my chain, like I was born and bred here. So Pleasant Grove is where I'm from. And I have a big pride about my city. So I could never call myself the king of the city because there's so many people that came before me, but I am like building out my own legacy within Dallas. So at this point, I am the prince of the city because I am building out my own legacy and following the same path as some of the people who I consider kings of Dallas. Yeah. So that's where that comes from, just me, just giving my kind of, my perspective of what I'm doing in Dallas.
That's awesome. Very good.
Absolutely.
So being so into hip hop, are you gonna rap for us this week?
I would not. I have no rap to rap. So I'm not like, even though I'm big into hip hop, I'm not big into like the actual rapping side of it. Like I don't rap, but I love to discover new rappers. We get so many people in our DMs at the station. They come up, they give us their music. I love the city and like the talent that we have in Dallas, because we have a lot and it's untapped. You know what I mean? Even though Dallas is a major city, we're not really known for hip hop.
So they just DM you their songs?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
They DM us links to their music, links to their albums.
Trying to get discovered, I
Basically,
guess.
yeah.
You ever just
Airtime.
play something that comes across on a DM?
You cannot. Well, so like I play it not on air. Is that what you mean? Like you
Yeah.
gonna play
Yeah,
like,
on the air. You can't.
No,
So it
not
doesn't
at
work
all.
that way.
No, not at all.
It's all pre-programmed.
Yeah, absolutely. There's people who are in charge of that, and if you mess with their formula, they're not too happy. Yeah, they're not too happy.
So,
Yeah.
interesting. Well, you've got all these different hats that you wear. When you're just trying to relax, what's your favorite pastime?
So that's actually a kind of easy one. I love going to a movie.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I love going to a movie.
What's the
I
last
love
movie
that
you
too.
saw?
Do you go by yourself?
I do. Sometimes I do.
me too.
I'll even take like sneak food in.
Meatloaf.
Yeah, quesadillas, all of it. Yeah, I do. I love going to a movie. The last movie I saw was Violent Night, I think is what it's called.
I haven't seen that one.
It's like a Christmas movie, except it's like a twist on it. Like Santa Claus plays a hero. He's saving this family who was being held hostage on like Christmas Eve or something like that. But it was a great movie. It was very funny. That was the last movie I saw, but going to see a movie is like super relaxing to me. Like how can it not? You're in a dark theater, you're being entertained by whatever it is that you're watching. And sometimes if you go with somebody, of course, that you want to like go with, that's always like fun and relaxing. But yeah, I just love going to a good movie, or even like at home. I love a good movie. Like cut the AC on 68, 67, get some good food and just watch a movie. So I love it. The movies are my like go-to.
That's your downtime.
Clears my mind.
It's funny because it's still in the entertainment world.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think I need that like visual stimulation and like that mental stimulation. Like what is happening? Like I like thrillers, so it's like what is happening here?
Yeah.
Trying to figure out.
What was the biggest challenge that you've had to face getting into
That's a good
industry?
question. The biggest challenge that I had to face, radio is very like competitive. So seeing other people progress and you feeling like you aren't progressing fast enough or at a like a similar pace as they are, that can sometimes mentally get to you. So me getting out of my own way and just saying, hey, focus on what you're focusing on and don't focus on anybody or anything else around you. Just make that goal your main focus. So that was probably my biggest obstacle when I first got into radio, just seeing everybody else do it and me just feeling like I wasn't able to do it how they did it. which is like for a good reason. I'm not them,
Right.
you know, so they're not me. I had to get out of my own head and just say, hey, look, you do it your way, and what's meant for you is going to happen. And if it doesn't happen, then it just doesn't. But you are going to give everything that you have to make it happen. So getting out of my own way was probably my biggest obstacle in radio. Yeah, I would definitely say getting out of my own way.
See, I think you're so funny. I was wondering, when you do the traffic, is it just traffic? Or are you kind of funny?
You got your own little twist on it.
So it is, but it also isn't. Like I said, there are higher ups who basically want it done a certain way. So I try to add my own little like splash of flavor in it, but it's within reason, you know, because they look at it like traffic is a serious thing. So you don't want to have people losing trust in you by being too comedic or too jokey. So you always want to make sure you keep a certain level of like professionalism when you do it. But like I said, I always try to add in my own little like, just my own little flavor. My own little flavor. But I love it though. I love traffic.
So what are some goals that you've yet to achieve that you see in your future?
Some goals that I've yet to achieve. So I'm still carving out my spot on like a morning show. So even though I contribute with DD in the morning, I am not like a solid piece just yet. So I'm just a contributor for their show. So growing my like position within DD in the morning, that's definitely a 2023 goal for myself. And even leaving Dallas. As much as I love my city, I would love to develop roots outside of Dallas and then bring that back to the city. So that is a goal of mine as well for like the coming year. Just maybe just getting more exposure outside of the city.
Well, I was wondering if once you did that, if you saw Stacy and I doing your traffic for you.
I could definitely see. Can y'all give me like a little sample? Like just a little bit of.
You go ahead.
Go ahead.
You're
in it more than I am.
comedic than I am.
I love it. No, I could definitely see that. I'll definitely pitch the idea. Y'all could be like a traffic duo.
Subs, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We can sub
Be a
for you.
traffic duo. I like that idea.
Do you ever have dreams of having your own show?
I do. That is
what
probably
does
like
that
the big
format
goal.
look like? Is it, yeah.
Yeah, that's the big goal. So my own like morning show would be like the pinnacle for me. To be like a Trey G in the morning or something like that. DD is a very good. I don't want to say coach because she's not necessarily a coach.
Mentor, maybe.
Mentor, exactly. Yeah, she's a very good mentor. She's taught me so much in so little time. And I use what I see and take from her. I use that as a model for like my own on-air like content. The way she formulates stuff, the way she gets straight to the point, the way she is like just so smooth with her delivery, I try to emulate all of that as much as possible. And she is like, she gives so much good game. So for somebody who's already made it there to still be able to reach back and say, hey, look, I see you trying. I want to help you try. And I want to help you get to where you're trying to get to because I see what you are doing. I have to salute her for that. You know what I mean? Have to salute her. But that would be the big goal.
So you're called Trey G. You're called the Prince of the City.
Uh-huh.
And then I've also seen Trenches.
Oh, God.
Tell us what that is.
So Trenches is it's my own little spin on the word. So of course TRE is its like first three letters, which is the first three letters of my radio name. And then Trenches is basically my point of view of everything that I see. So these are my trenches. This is where I come from. I'll show you Pleasant Grove, like the less sexy parts of towns, right? The Pleasant Groves, the Oak Cliffs, the South Dallases. Those are like parts of the city where they don't get as much exposure for like the positive things that they do or like have in them, but they have a lot of positive in them. So these are my like trenches, you know, like it can be a war zone, but it can also be something beautiful with a bunch of love and a bunch of just goodness about it. You know what I mean? So I just want to give the people these areas from my perspective. So these are Trey's trenches. I'll show you that.
So give us a sample of what one of those might be.
Oh, wow.
Maybe
So
one of your loves.
one more time?
One of your loves.
One of my loves, okay. So South Dallas, there's a seafood spot called Ain't Irene's. They've been around, it's right off of like Malcolm X. They've been around for years. And that's a spot where like the city can, like they come together and they have like seafood that's not just like fried fish or like fried shrimp. It's actually like crab legs. It's actually lobster. And they take pride in what they do. You know what I mean? That's a spot where everybody comes together and gets together and can have a good meal. You know what I'm saying? Oak Cliff. You have a bunch of spots in Oak Cliff. You have Executive Airport. That's something that a lot of people don't know about in Oak Cliff. You can actually go to the Executive Airport and you can have a dinner and you can see like the planes come in.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, you can see the planes come in from Oak Cliff. Pleasant Grove, there's Eastfield College in Pleasant Grove. We have a campus in Pleasant Grove, Eastfield College, where you can take courses. A lot of people don't know that, and that serves the community. You can also go there to vote. This past like election cycle, I went there to vote, and I always go there to vote, so it counts in that area basically. But Eastfield is another like just staple in Pleasant Grove that a lot of people don't really know about, but it serves the community in that area. You know what I mean? So you have places like that and things like that that are like developing in those parts of town, but they just don't get as much shine as they should.
Hidden gems.
Absolutely.
Well, you want to always ask last question?
So if money was no object and you could go back and be anything else in the world that you could be, what would it be?
Oh, and you know what? I hear y'all ask this question all the time.
We ask it every time.
Yeah, and I sit back there.
Known it was coming.
I know it. And I sit back
Put it
there.
on your list.
And I think, what would mine be? Honestly, I have to say it would be radio. It honestly would be radio. I love what I do. And I've loved radio since forever. Skip Murphy and Company, they were like a staple in the city. And my grandma used to take us to school when I was in elementary, and we would just listen to Skip Murphy and Company and laugh so much. Nene Lee, Skip Cheatham, Skip Murphy, all of those guys. So it would be radio. Like radio has always been something that's piqued my interest. So if money was no object, if I could do anything in the world, I would talk in front of a mic to
Awesome.
thousands of people.
You're doing what you're meant to do.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
One last thing, do you have any questions for us? Any final last words?
I do. How has it been working the show? How has it been setting everything up? Because you guys put a lot of effort and a lot of yourself into the show. How has it been for you all to host the show?
You know, Carolee and I think, work pretty well off of each other. And so from that perspective, it's been easy.
Absolutely.
You know, we just kind of feed off of each other. We really enjoy getting to know the people that we're interviewing. And so from that perspective, it's showing up, you guys making us look great on camera, and off we go. So
Absolutely.
From that perspective, it's just been great.
It's not very hard to make you guys look great on camera. Y'all do that yourselves. I promise you.
I think the harder part is just making sure we have good guests and getting that organized, making sure
Ahead of
to
time,
take the
lining
time
it
to
up.
give them the directions and get their questions
logistics
to them
of
and
it.
logistics. But other than that, it's been really fun.
Really?
I mean, I never thought we'd be doing anything like this. And
Absolutely.
We've done it for 4 years now, but I think it's just a blast. We've gotten to meet and get to know people better, and I've loved it.
Yeah, and I've loved being a part of y'all journey. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You made it what it is too. You did.
You guys did that. I promise you.
Yeah.
I promise you. And it's been a pleasure being on the opposite side of that glass and seeing y'all work. The funniest thing too, I've taken things from you all, the way you guys structure your interviews, your questions. I've taken little things from that and I've applied it to myself. You guys like exude confidence too when you up here. Y'all are just so good at what you do. You're so good at making people feel warm and welcome. And that's something that anybody should be able to take away from you guys as characters. So I appreciate y'all for that.
Thank you.
Most definitely.
Oh, thank you so much.
Most
I
definitely.
can't believe this is it. We're
I know.
wrapping up 4 years. Wrapping it up.
Absolutely. Y'all like Shaq and Penny.
Which one am I?
I have no clue. You have to decide that for yourself.
We'll leave that to the audience.
There we go. I love it.
I'll tell you what, I thank you to those who have supported us for the past 4 years, those of you who watch our show and who are always making mention of it to us. And those who have been on the show. It's just been great. We've loved doing it.
Absolutely. We are just thrilled that we've been able to do this for so long, and that, like she said, all the support that we received.
So here we are. I'm Carolee.
And I'm Stacy.
And we are your real estate professionals.
Thank you for joining us on North Texas Networkers.
Visit our website, mariposagroupdfw.com. That's MARIPOSA Group DFW.com for more information about the show and other resources. I'm Carolee.
And I'm Stacy.
And we are your real estate professionals.